guys, and welcome back to Hilltop Farm. I'm Jay, and today I'm going to be showing you how to can chicken stock. Right, once the fat's been removed off the top, we need to heat it up for two reasons, so the remaining fat can be evenly distributed throughout the stock, so that you end up with an equal amount in each jar. But also you don't want to put it into your can of stone cold out the fridge. Okay, so this is almost ready. Okay, I'll bring you back once it's warm enough to start canning. So we have our sterilised jars. They've been sitting here with hot water in them. Okay, now we give our stock a good mix. We do this each time we get a spoonful. Okay, now this should be exciting for some people because this will be the first time on my channel that I've filmed a pressure canning. So that will be something quite different. Now, there you go, I'll get the next jar ready. Okay, now over here I've got some water with vinegar in it. I just lightly go around the top. Just gets rid of any nasties. Make sure we have a proper seal. You're looking for a sort of a 1/2 to 1 inch head space with stocks. There's going to be obviously no air because you're dealing with a liquid. Alright, and our lid's been soaking in hot but not boiling water. Alright, now one for the canner. Okay, one in. Okay. And off we go. Now, those of you that watched my introductory video possibly didn't catch on to what I was rambling about, but it's stuff like this. Why would you want supermarket rubbish when you can make this yourself? I don't know. I mean, I understand in this day and age we need the convenience, particularly when, you know, people are working hard. I do understand. But, you know, when you have time, you should do it. So, now the lids. Another one for the canner. Another one in. Now I might finish this lot and bring you back once the canner is full. Okay, that's the last one. So that was 11 pints we actually got out of that batch. Rather than put a second layer in just for one, the 11th one I'm going to put straight in the fridge, and that can be used next time we need stock. Now, the fun bits, the pressure canning. Okay, now what we do is we start with our lid. Okay, this is the lid for the Presto. Now, we have to check it every time we use it. Okay, they're not dangerous as long as you treat them with respect and you treat them properly. Okay, our gauge on the top, see that one? Okay, sitting on 0. This is where we put our weight. That's the venting hole. And venting is where the steam comes out. Now you need to hold that up to the light to make sure you can see through it and it's clear, which it is. This is our, here, can you see that? That there is the locking mechanism. Make sure that's moving freely. And last but not least, this is a rubber stopper. This is an emergency device. If it goes over a certain pressure, that will fire out to release the pressure and stop the whole thing exploding. So make sure that's in place. Last but not least, our rubber seal. Just make sure that it's all intact, looking good, and there's nothing wrong with it. Alright, now all we do is down in here, we make sure we've got enough water just below the seals. With pressure canning, you don't have to go over the top of the jars. Alright, so that's in there. Now to put the lid on, what we do is put it there, okay, and then we twist it into place, and that's it. Now we leave that here, okay, to come up to the boil. Once it comes to the boil, it's what it's referred to as it starts venting, and you know it's venting because this little gadget here where the steam comes out, there's a constant rise of steam coming out of there, and it makes a noise. So I'll bring you back when this is venting and you'll be able to see what I mean. Now, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's whistling, okay, and it's actually venting. There's actually a jet of steam coming out of that nozzle. Obviously I'm not going to put my hand over it, but you can certainly hear it. Now this is what's called, the pressure canner is now venting. Now we have to let it vent for 10 minutes, okay, and when it's been venting for 10 minutes I'll come back and show you what to do next. Now we've been venting for 10 minutes. Now next thing we do is we have to put our weight on, okay? Now, the weight we need here depends on your altitude as to how heavy a weight you put on. For our altitude, we need a 10-pound weight, which is what's on here, okay? What we do, without putting your hand under the flow of steam, you just do that and pop it on, okay? Now, if you watch the gauge, that now has stopped the steam escaping. So if you watch this, the pressure will start to build up in the canner. Once the pressure, because it's a 10-pound weight, once it hits 10 pound, usually just over, it will start to jiggle. And when it jiggles, if you listen, it lets the pressure out. So it will, that will help it maintain a 10 to 11 pound pressure in the canner. As I said to you before, if something were to go wrong and the pressure kept increasing, it would get to a certain point and this rubber thing would blow out and save the day. But I've never ever known anyone that's happened to, and it certainly hasn't happened here. Now as you can see, our pressure is on the way up. Okay, now I'll be back when it hits 10 to 11 pounds of pressure to show you, one, what it looks like, what it sounds like, and tell you what we do next. And we're back. Now, as you can see, our pressure is just over the 10 mark, which is perfect. Our weight is now jiggling away, letting all the excess pressure out so that it doesn't get too hot. Too much pressure. Now, this is when the processing starts. When the pressure reaches there, and that starts jiggling. You consult your ball canning book, and it will tell you for whatever it is that you're trying to can. It also depends on the size of the jars you're using. In this case, obviously, it's chicken stock, and we are using a pint jar. Look that up in the book, and for our altitude, as I said, it's 10 pounds pressure, and it has to process for 20 minutes. So this has to sit like this for 20 minutes, and when that's happened, we'll call you back. Okay, now we're back. Now this has been processing for 20 minutes, so I turn off the gas. Okay, now the next part is really important. Do not try and rush this depressurizing. If you do, you run the, depending on what you do, of course, you run the risk of burning yourself, which we don't want at all. Other than that is you run the risk of breaking the glass, the jars inside, if it comes off the pressure too quickly. So all you do, you turn off the heat, and then you just leave it to depressurize. You'll know it's depressurized, obviously, because this will go back to 0. Your weight will stop rocking, but the most important thing is the valve at the back, you'll see, is standing in the upright position. That's a lock that prevents you opening it while it's under pressure. All the time that is in the up position, obviously it's under pressure. Do not do anything until it's dropped down. Don't take the weight off. Tis tempting, I know, sometimes, particularly if I've been canning of an evening and I want to go to bed, I'm tempted to take the thing off, but don't. Just leave it on there and wait until the pressure comes down. Okay, so we will be back once the pressure in the canner has dropped. Now we're just waiting for the valve at the back to drop down. As you can see, our valve has now popped down, so it's safe to remove our weight. See? Nothing to be scared of, anyone who's scared of it. Okay, slowly and carefully we release the lids, and always, but always, lift it so the steam goes away from you, because there's lots of it. Okay, now you have to take them out. Okay, now we've got the lid off, I'm going to get them all out of the canner. It's quite weird. You see, they still sort of bubble while they're this hot. They get incredibly hot in there. Pressure canning, yes, is much hotter. Sterilizes anything, you know, salmonella or anything like that that's in there. Doesn't stand an earthly. Okay, now the pinging you're hearing is the jars sealing themselves down. Okay. Now, don't tilt them on their sides. you can clean them off later. Alright, so there we go. Now see, can you see that on there? Bubbling away, bubbling like crazy. So, as I say, one by one you'll hear them ping, and that's their lids sealing up. We have to wait for them to thoroughly cool. Make sure you put them on a towel. If you put them on something cold, your jars may break. And if you live in a very cold climate and it's a cold day, make sure they're not in a draft. Put a towel over them if you need to. We don't need to have that problem here, but okay, so I'll be back once these have cooled down, and I'll show you how to quickly clean them up and label them for long-term storage in the pantry. Okay, I'll see you later. Okay, and we're back. Now, our chicken stock has cooled beautifully. What we need to do now is we need to clean them all up. So we take off all the bands, just leaving the lid on the top. Wash them all in warm soapy water to make sure that if there was any spillage, that we get rid of it. Don't want to attract ants into the pantry. On the top, we just mark what's in it and the date, and that's it. Goes into the pantry. Simple as that. And seriously, when you actually look at it, can you see that? That is just glorious. Absolutely glorious. Now, before I go, I'm currently working on a special for the channel, another video I did earlier. I'm doing a tutorial on canning, and it's going to be right from the very, very basics for those that have never even heard of it, right through to the experienced canner might just find it interesting to watch while you're having a cup of coffee or something. Anyway, I'm currently working on that. I'm hoping, against hope, that part 1 will be aired as of this coming Friday morning, 6 o'clock Central Australian time, and then subsequent parts will be on subsequent Fridays. I don't know how many parts it will be at this stage, but as I say, I'm hoping to have part 1 out by Friday. But if not, definitely be the next Friday. My next regular video, haven't decided 100% yet, but I think I'm going to go for a main meal. Just haven't done that yet on the channel, just because of the time of year here in Australia. We've been doing a lot of jams and preserving and that kind of thing. But yes, I think we're going to do a mains, and I think I'm going to go for something that is called a Mockram chicken pie, which will see all the chicken that came off the bird that went in to make this chicken stock. We shredded all the chicken. I think in America you call it pulled all the chicken, but all the meat's been shredded, and I'm going to use that in this Mockram chicken pie, and I'll show you how to do that in the next regular cooking episode. Okay, so until then, you take care, and it's goodbye from Hilltop Farm and me. See ya!